Steve, obviously, you know quite a lot about recessions and the Wall Street and the Federal Reserve driving us into recessions. CNN seems to revolve its economic coverage around Jamie Dimon, what Jamie Dimon forecasts. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, one of the criminal banks responsible for tanking the global financial system. Let's play clip number one of CNN on Jamie Dimon predicting a recession.
And what does Jamie Dimon see that he keeps on telling us a recession is around the corner?
He sees more than most, right? Because all of those credit cards and consumers and bank loans. Look, he had talked about a hurricane a few months ago. I mean, his job, and he has said this to us many times, his job is to worry about what's coming down the pike. And he's worried about all the uncertainties. There are more uncertainties and more headwinds for global economies than there at one time than I've ever seen. And so he is warning about some sort of a recession in the future, 6 to 9 months. He's not the only one warning as well. You've got Bank of America also saying you're going to see a recession down the road and that you'll actually start to see some job losses sometime next year. So
he sees more than most, CNN, over Jamie Dimon. As a reminder, Jamie Dimon, I guess he sees recessions or is clairvoyant. He also loves recessions by his own words. Let's play that clip, Tom.
I don't look at a recession as a bad thing.
Even a recession could be good for JP Morgan's share price. Here is their chairman and CEO, Jamie Dimon.
I mean, it's bad for America. It's bad for the people unemployed. It's usually an opportunity for JP Morgan.
Whoa! Did you hear that? Of course Jamie Dimon sees a recession as a money-making opportunity. The last time Wall Street crashed the economy 10 years ago, 15 million families lost their homes to foreclosure, while thousands of Americans were forced to set up tent cities in Sacramento, Fresno, Tampa Bay, and Reno because they couldn't afford a place to live. Jamie Dimon was able to buy a $17 million, 34-acre estate in Bedford, New York.
So, I don't know. I'm waiting for Tulsi Gabbard to do a long tirade on, Jamie Dimon's woke problem with wokeness. But why I wanted to play that is literally CNN, MSNBC, The Times, all of them who barely laid a glove on any of these banks for their criminal fraud, never called on any of them to be prosecuted, are basically saying that they know all and kind of leaving out the fact that a lot of Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan and other banks' behavior and ongoing acts are why we have these boom and bust cycles of ongoing recessions.
Jordan, here's the deal. Nobody will take a minute to consider this. And I'm going to ask you all to take a moment to consider this. When the federal government stops spending, we stop getting money. Once we stop getting money, we have to take out loans. Once we take out loans, interest money is now being made by the Jamie Dimons and the banking system of the world. When you cut federal spending, the spending comes from somewhere, and it comes from bank credit and these horrible loans, payday loans, you name it. And the more they cut federal spending, the more they reduce the deficit, the more we have to go to Jamie Dimon and others. So this is part one of why he's a fuckhead. Part two of this, which is really gruesome, is that many of you ask the federal government to stop spending money it doesn't have because you badly believe, pathetically actually believe, that by the government spending money, it's inflationary. So then you go ahead and you ask for the government to stop spending money. And the government says, no problem. And they stop spending money. Then what do? We've got inflation. We've got to raise interest rates. Why do they raise interest rates? Because guys like Jamie Dimon make more money. Why would they raise that? Because they're trying to drive the country into recession. Why do they want to drive it into recession? To stop inflation. Why do they want to stop inflation by driving a recession? Because it's another cash grab by Jamie Dimon. Okay? Each step along the way, we get it wrong. We've always gotten it wrong. We'll always get it wrong until the anti-woke in our midst that ignore the economics, that continue to parrot what these idiots on alt media say and on MSM say. Until you understand that there's only two ways that money's getting into the economy. Either A, the government is spending it, or B, you're taking out a bank loan. That's it. All the money that's in the economy is the money that's staying in the economy. When it's taxed, it's removed. It doesn't exist anymore. The government doesn't stash cash. It deletes it, because why does it need to stash that which it creates readily? So this is, of course he understands a recession is coming. He's talking with the Federal Reserve, who's raising interest rates with the intention of creating this scenario. The more they make money by raising interest rates, and the more we get laid off by raising interest rates and creating the recession, the more we then in turn will have to sell our homes on the cheap or get foreclosed on. And there's Jamie Dimon once again, ready with the bad foreclosures, ready with the rocket docket, ready for all the bullshit that happened in 2008 and 9 when the whole big thing fell down with the housing market. Same thing. I need you all to pay attention, because I'm telling you, this is the deal. And the reason they know there's going to be a recession is because they need for there to be a recession, because the alternative would be price caps, trust busting, anti-monopoly legislation, you name it. But they aren't going to do that, because they are all neoliberals. That would be Biden, that would be Trump, that would be the Republicans, that would be the Democrats. This is a planned global recession. Check out Stephanie Kelton in The Lens. She's got a great Substack. Check it out. If you want to learn from people that understand the economy, I recommend not going to these other bullshit alt media people that scream at the camera but don't know what they're fucking talking about. If you want to learn economics, listen to people that know economics. And right now, we're about to enter into a shitty recession that I have PTSD in the worst way. Because the last time this happened, I lost my family. I almost lost my home. I'm still trying to dig out of the hole from 08 and 09. This is what millions of people will have to deal with, all because you all thought it was a good idea to reduce the deficit. And this is the kind of shit that is going to destroy us all. And Jamie Dimon is going to laugh all the way to the bank.
I have to correct you, Steve, because when you say you all,
well,
our audience is wiser than that. So I don't think you're talking to most in our audience.
Proverbial all. Okay. I'm talking.
I just don't want the audience to get it. No, I don't want the audience to get it twisted. I'm not going to try to follow on your economic wizardry because you know it better than I. But what I will say, and you've taught me a lot on modern monetary theory, which I often discuss when you're not here. But to me, one of the real important things on this particular story is the media part.
Oh yeah.
Look at who the media slobbers over. I don't know if it was you, Steve, but a couple months ago, I was discussing that Poppy Harlow of CNN had the CEO of Goldman Sachs on. They talked in the middle of a baseball stadium to give, hey, what's your advice for Biden on inflation? The CEO of Goldman Sachs. You know, the Goldman Sachs that literally got away with murder in 2009, the Goldman Sachs that is still defrauding investors today, the Goldman Sachs that has been digged for higher interest rates on black consumers, brown consumers, and you have CNN here. They're not actually focusing on, oh, this recession might be coming because, I don't know, all these corporations are price gouging. They're not talking about that. They're not talking about the fact that, oh, wait, why is it that the numbers don't add up? That they're not actually passing off, higher costs to themselves onto consumers. No, we don't need to talk about that. They're certainly not talking about Amazon basically creating a modern slave shop, which we're going to get to next. They are going to Jamie Dimon for his pearls of wisdom. It's just, this is part of why people stay numb to economic facts and figures, because the media pushes these people forward like Larry Summers, Jamie Dimon. Hell, they used to have Art Laffer on all the time. Mm-hmm. These are the very people that are rigging the system. And by the way, purchasing our politicians, because you better believe the Democrats are taking money from JP Morgan, as are the Republicans. So it's just obscene. And as you said, hey, when we hit this, I think we're already in a recession, based on my reporting on my last road trip. But I'm sure Jamie Dimon will make a windfall, as will JP Morgan from this.
So, one of the things that jumps out, and I think this is hard for people to realize, we are not on a gold standard. We are not on a commodity money. So the reason why you free float your currency, in other words, allow it to float on the open market, is because there is no way to debase that currency. There is no way to create we've got so much money to create an inflation. It doesn't work that way. Okay. The government spends the first dollar on some good or bad, something. It spends it out. Whatever it sets that dollar at is what it prices the dollar at. That is the de facto price level. Once the government spends that money, that is the price level. Whatever is done with it beyond that, that right there is either price gouging. It could come from a demand issue where we don't have enough supply to meet demand, but it's never an issue about the quantity of money. That is Sig Heil, right-wing, libertarian, freaking Milton Friedman trash, hot trash on a freaking summer day, right there in Dahmer's apartment, kind of hot trash. And we are talking about something that we need to get out of our heads. If we were on a gold standard, if we were on commodity money, then we would have a base to be able to debase from. We would be able to create inflation by printing money, but that's not how it works. Milton Friedman on his deathbed said, I fucked up. This whole concept of quantity theory of money is bullshit. Yet there's so many people that are hell-bent on repeating it. I don't get it. Can someone explain to me why anyone would ever repeat something that Milton Friedman said as if it were good? Can someone help me understand why there are left-wing people or people that are remotely human that would repeat this nonsense from Milton Friedman about quantity theory of money? QTM, it has completely been debunked. It is a non-thing. The idea of printing money against a gold standard, if you have a pool of gold, little pool of gold, and you decide that one little slice of this pizza pie equals $1, but then you print $2 against that slice of pizza pie, now you've gone ahead and debased it because you've gone ahead and printed against the pie. That's not what we're on. We're on a free floating fiat regime. If that's news to you, it happened in 72. So it's time to get caught up in 2022. 1972 was when that happened. That's 50 years ago, folks. Got to get up with this, man. Because every time you repeat that, an angel, some kid dies or something. It's horrible. It's literally, you're peeling away the wings of angels or something. Taking away your unicorn horns. I don't know. Whatever it is, every time you say something about quantity theory of money creating inflation, something bad happens. Don't do it anymore. It's not real. It's fake. It's fraudulent.